So today is a good day. A good day. A good day. We have some story time for you guys. We have some tips. This is more of a life post blog. You know, as you can see from that title, you know what this morning is. Sorry, this is gonna be a serious, non-serious post because, you know, I'm just feeling too good and my doofiness is coming out and it's just gonna have to be what it is. So today, after 2 times trying, on my 3rd time, I have passed my driving test. Applause. I have passed my driving test. As you can see, I am ridiculously excited because I am. So let's just get into it. So I have taken the driving test twice. 2 times, failed both times. Not too happy about that. So let's just get into it. The first time I failed because I wasn't ready personally. I thought it was, but take it from me, until you feel comfortable and you are taking official driving lessons and you have gotten everything you think you can get out of this, you're not ready. So I happened to go to one of the more strict ones, as I'm hearing. And the first time I went, I actually never even got to take my driver's test because I showed up in my cousin's car. Thank you to her. You looked out, girl. And she has legal tints on her car. It does not matter if your tints are legal. It doesn't matter what it is. You cannot have any tints whatsoever on the car that you're using for your tests. So the guy walked out. He was like, I have some good news and some bad news. And I was like, what is that, sir? So he's like, so you can't use this car. And I'm like, why? This is a new car. What are we talking about, sir? I've been driving this car. He's like, no, you can't use this car because it has tints on it. He says, but the good news is I'll allow you to take the test still if you can get another car here in half an hour. So got another car there, and this is I'm running out of options at this point. I don't have cars waiting around for y'all. And most people have things on their car that are not legal for driving tests. So the second car, everything was working. They checked all the functionings, and there happened to be a light over the license plate that is just, I guess, to reflect on the light. The guy would not allow me to take the test because that light was out. And I'm like, sir, but most cars don't even have this. And it's not even like it's for, like, signaling or actual things, you know, for the driving portion. He's like, it doesn't matter if it's in the car, it needs to work. I'm like, y'all have got to be kidding me. So I do all of this, late to work, all of that, just to not take my test. So that's first I had to reschedule. Is this light reflected in my glasses? Oh well, we're about to work with it. So that being said, I went to actually physically take my test for the first time. I happened to be using a Camaro this time. I arrived early. Upon walking in the door and sitting my butt in that chair to be called, one of the instructors walks into the little room, whatever we in, and goes, who's driving the Camaro? And I'm like, he goes, can you even drive that car? And I'm like, excuse me, sir. Yes, I can drive this car, which I can. So I already felt like it was not going to be going well for me. So once I go take my test, he gets in the car, everything checks out. You can't say nothing to me, I don't got tints, boo. So we get in the car, checks everything out, sits in the car and is like, I mean, don't get me wrong, this guy was a very nice guy. But he gets in the car, he's like, so uncomfortable. He's like, American muscle car is so uncomfortable. And I'm like, this isn't looking too good. So proceed to take the test. I have to back in immediately. Again, this is my first time actually trying. I was not ready. I'm fully able to admit that. So I backed in on the casualty because I actually couldn't back in at the time. The lot happened to be empty that day, and he was like, okay, I need you to back in. And I know I can't back in, so I was like, ooh, this spot's in front of me. If I pull into that one and back up, I'll be fine. Don't do that. Don't be like me. I don't know why I thought that was an intelligent thing to do at the time, but when you're taking a test, you're very nervous, and any which way sounds like a wonderful idea. So soon as I do that, he was like, you can't do that. And I was like, oh. But he's like, if you make it in, I'll give it to you. I made it in that bitch. So I made it and he let me go. But literally immediately the minute after that, I failed. That's when I hit the main road. thought I was supposed to change lanes. I was way wrong. Tried to change lanes and there was a car coming up on me too fast. I wasn't good at checking my mirrors then. I should have been taking the test, but I didn't know any better. I was just trying to get my license and I almost hit somebody. Didn't hit somebody, but almost did. So that was an automatic fail, so he brought me back. I couldn't even pull the car because it was so big into the right space. He's like, you about to hit another car. I was like, no, I'm not. So that was fail. I literally almost cried, and I'm not a crier, but I was so upset. So I had to take another test. I had scheduled another test. But between that time and then I was like, okay, I need to take more like driving, you know, stuff like that. And at this time I was relying on other people to kind of get whatever lessons I could. If you are able to get proper driving instruction from school, I know that stuff is expensive, but if you can do it, get it. Trust me when I tell you, it makes 100 times difference. Because relying on people to try to take a test, you're dealing on their time. You have to worry about if they care or not, to teach you how to drive, if they're around or not. Like, a lot of people, from my experience, are not really willing to help you learn to drive. They're not willing to take the risk. They don't want to take the time. That's just what it comes down to. I had put off paying for lessons because, as you guys know, they are so expensive. And let me tell you, if you are 18 or younger watching this video, go get your license now, or at least try, because there's so much more offered as far as driving lessons and where you can take your test, etc. when you're younger than 18. I was limited to so many different things. Like, I couldn't take my test at one of the driving schools. Not every driving school caters to older people. And then it's just, honestly, I just feel like once you get to a certain age, they go, oh, you can pay for it. We're not offering you these options. I remember calling one company and they were like, for 8 hours, it's $1,000. And I was like, excuse me, sir? I'm not paying $1,000 for 8 hours. So finally, I want to say a couple months ago, I decided this is not working. I need to just take driver's courses. So I happened to get a really good school that picks me up from my house, drops me off at my house, and the teachers were amazing. When I tell you I learned some tricks, I feel like I parked like a pro. I probably got y'all now. The time came to where I finally scheduled my next test and I didn't have a car. So most schools, if you don't know, require for you to take lessons with them for a certain number of hours before they allow you to use their car. And let me tell you, using their car prices are anywhere, again, from like $150 minimum, which is really low, to about $200. So we are on to the second time taking my driver's lesson, which was about 2-3 weeks ago. So I paid for a car to take the lesson. You know, I was feeling good. But again, here's when I tell you that there's always something that you might not know unless you've been driving for a very long time and you are 100% confident. And when it comes to driving and my nerves are terrible. I had the worst anxiety taking all these tests. I had the worst anxiety driving. My nerves are always in shambles when I'm driving. You know, get in there early. I didn't get the same guy again. I got a different guy. And he confused me from Jump Street because most of the instructors are supposed to check the car before they get in and you start the test. This guy did not. And I was like, I'm about to fail. He didn't check the car. So I'm sitting here like, sir? He's like, start the car. And I'm like, is this the real test start? Or like, are you about to check the car start? He's like, start the car. And I'm like, okay. So he's like, it's hot. He has to turn the AC on, all of that. And he's like, okay, from here forward, you'll be taking tests. So I'm immediately confused because I'm like, oh, we not checking the car? All right. So take the test. Start it. I'm doing all right so far. This one I failed for dumb mistakes that I had to figure out after. Like, it's kind of like one of those, like, you take it and you learn. So take the test. He brings me to the back parking lot to back in. So rule is, anytime you put your car in reverse, that counts as a try. So you're only allowed to put your car in reverse 3 times. Now I'm like, oh, I got this. But for some reason, I cannot get into the space today. I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. Am I about to fail for the one thing I know? Literally on the 3rd try, the last try, I got my car straight in the space. So it was here that everything went downhill. So pull out. Now I'm coming to this, like, we're pulling out of the building parking lot. I'm coming to this little driveway thing that has a yellow line in the middle. Me not having studied enough on lines and which side of the street you should take, I always thought, you know, take the closest side to you. lesson learned. So I took the closest side to me, making a left, which is wrong. So I immediately screwed up there, but he kept letting me take the test. I was like, okay, I definitely failed. Where are we going? So we hit the open road. I had to do a 3-lane switch. Those things are the devil on the test, in my opinion. I tried to lane switch. The guy immediately jerked the wheel back and was like, you didn't have the right of way. Said a car was coming at me again. So I knew I was failing from there forward. So he went back, automatically failed. So after that, I was feeling really defeated. I was really down. I kind of didn't want to take my test anymore because given how much money I had already spent to fail, spending $200 on a car to fail, spending all this money and all these lessons I had to fail. And then my other situation was that my permit ID was expiring in literally like a month. So if I didn't pass within that time, I had to start from point A again. I had to take my whole permit test over, everything. So that was kind of my fault for waiting for so long to start taking these lessons in driving. That was that. I had literally called the DMV like every single day at every hour to try to get a closer appointment. So I took 2 more lessons on the things I had issues with. So I practiced my lane switching, which was my problem. And lane switching is not easy. I've had several instructors tell me that lane switching is one of the biggest things that people fail for. So if that happens to be your problem, don't be discouraged because lane switching is very hard. You have to it's one of those things that you have to get used to and feel comfortable with. Learn your mirrors. Also, those little tiny blind spot mirrors that I'm showing you right there are amazing. If you can get those on any car that you're using, get those. They're great for parking, they're great for lane switching and stuff like that. So I took some lessons on lane switching, and then I also took lessons just on redoing everything and, you know, practicing how to keep my speed correctly so I don't go 5 over, etc, etc, etc. But I only got 2 lessons in by the time, you know, my next test was. So here we are today. I have been going crazy literally the entire week knowing that my test was today. Driving is uncomfortable just because there's so many different things that can happen. And a lot of people don't know how to drive. Like, y'all people who don't be putting on your signal lights, who be just switching lanes left and right and almost killing people in your process, y'all need to go back and take your test again because y'all make life difficult for us. So as you can see, which is why we're having this video, I passed. I was nervous the entire time. I happened to get an instructor who kind of understood that, and he was very nice. Of course, I had planned for, you know, nice weather given it's the summer. Of course, it's pouring rain. So I remember getting there and this guy is telling people to go inside, and my driver instructor said something, and I could swear the guy went, no shit. And I'm looking at this guy like, please don't tell me you're gonna be my instructor because you don't seem like you're in a good mood, sir. Like, I don't need any more problems. Lo and behold, that was my instructor, but he actually turned out to be really nice. I could have failed immediately, but he understood that my nerves and it was raining, etc, etc. So I took the test. So nervous in the beginning that I forgot to take the car out of park. But he was like, I get it, you're nervous, it's fine, don't worry about it. I actually did wonderful on this test, you know, kudos to me. So for those of you who are going to get your license or who have failed before, don't be discouraged because I was definitely discouraged. My anxiety was terrible, terrible. I mean, I prayed, I did everything this morning, read my scriptures, try to ask God to give me peace and give me his wisdom and keep me on this ride because, I mean, it's up in the air what's going to happen, and I thank God that I passed because I did, and I'm so excited because this is one of the things that I have been wanting to do. So some other tips for people, just in general for people who are getting their license, let me tell you this. If people keep asking you, why haven't you gotten your license? Why aren't you getting your license? Why aren't you this? And they're just pressuring you and pressuring you and pressuring you and making you feel like shit or like you're not doing something or like embarrassed, whether it's your age, whether you're younger. If somebody's pressuring you like this and it ain't your mother or your father, tell them to shut the hell up and mind their business. I had to learn that because I had so many people giving me their input on why I don't have my license. Why aren't you getting your license? Why didn't you take it yet? Why aren't you doing this? You should have it. Da, da, da. That's not your business. Let's make that clear. Don't let people pressure you because unless they're funding your driving classes or personally taking you in their car to do several lessons, they can mind their business. Because I feel like a lot of people have a lot of things to say when they're not the ones helping you. I helped myself and I paid for these lessons. I'm thankful for the few people who did help me. If I don't feel comfortable driving, I don't feel comfortable driving, that's it. So that is it. That is my story time today. And Thanks for watching.